it's Nancy with Nancy's Nibbles of Life, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, welcome. My name is Nancy and I'm on the WW plan. I'm on the blue plan and I get 23 points a day, and I love bringing you content centered around WW. Subscribers, thank you so much for clicking on the channel and joining me again today. So I have something a little different for you today. I have been on WW a time or two, and I know what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And I thought I would share with you the top 10 habits that are not helpful for you if you're on a WW journey. I've learned the hard way, so I want to share that with you. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. I'm just going to get into it. I have been on the WW program a time or two, and I have gotten to know some of the things that work for me and some of the things that don't. So I thought that I would share with you the things that don't, that may be hindering your progress on WW, that have certainly hindered mine. And so I am really aware of them, and I try not to make these mistakes. So, I've written them out here. I'm old school. I just have a little yellow tablet. So the first one I wanted to share with you, and I used to do this a lot, not tracking on the weekends. Are you guilty of that? That is a big one, because for me, I step on the scale once a week, and the scale doesn't move if I'm not tracking points or I've eaten a little too much on the weekends. I can't trust myself to gauge what's enough and what's not, so I'm always tracking on the weekends, because you just need that little extra push to ensure that you are on track. So if you're not tracking on the weekends, maybe that could be, something that you want to give yourself an opportunity to get into a better habit of doing. Save your weeklies for the weekends. Okay, number 2, forgetting to add oils and fats to my cooking and my points. I've done this in the past where I'll make a dish for dinner or lunch or breakfast, and it requires maybe a pat of butter here, a tablespoon of oil here, and I will omit that when I'm adding the points up to add them to the tracker, because it's in everything. You're always cooking with fats, but you have to add those. They make a huge difference. So remember to add your fats, your butters, your mayos, your creams, those kinds of ingredients that are just kind of a given in your cooking, but they may be adding extra points to your dishes. So be sure to count your oils and your fats. Alrighty, the next one, number 3, not weighing in. I've done this where I may not want to face the scale, or I may say, I don't feel any differently. So I'm not going to weigh myself this week. But information is really power. You have to know, because if you've gone up a pound or two, it may rein you in, right? And get you a bit more discipline. And so you may watch a little bit more, or track a little bit more closely. And that will result in something good on the scale the following week. So always weigh in, even if you don't want to. I think it's really helpful. Okay, the next, number 4, is eating all 0-point foods. Have you ever done this? I've had days where I thought, I'm just gonna eat 0-point foods today to counterbalance all the bad food I had yesterday. It doesn't work, because what happens is, for me anyway, I'm only speaking about my experience, I start to overeat in the next following days, because I feel like I was so good that one day that I could have a little more food today. So balance is key, right? So the 0-point foods are awesome, but you should always kind of incorporate them with the higher point foods, or foods that you normally eat, to make sure that you don't go too far one way or too far the other way. So eating all 0-point foods, that never works for me. Even though sometimes it's nice to know that you can eat a 0-point food day, and there's plenty on the WW plan for that. Okay, let's move on in my list. Number 5, not tracking everything. So this kind of goes with the oils and the fats. If you're tasting food here and there, I live with my husband, and I'm always kind of, if he brings home something from a fast food restaurant, I'll take a bite here and there. You know, you have to remember that those all add up to points. So you have to track everything, you know, even things that you may think are, oh, that's not much, I only had a bite or two. They could add a point or two to your day and throw you off for your whole week. So make sure that you track everything that you eat, even the little bites and sips. Like when you're preparing your food or your dinner or your breakfast and you're tasting as you go, just kind of be cognizant of that. You know, I remember when I first started WW, there was a saying by my old instructor, and it was bites, sips, and taste counts. Something to that effect. So just be mindful of that and that you track everything. Okay, the next one on my list is guessing the points. You know, that's a bad habit. I've done that, right? I've said, oh, this looks about 10 points. And really, maybe it's not, you know. Sometimes, unfortunately, you're in the position where you have to guess the points of foods. And so you really try to dissect what you're eating and get it right. But sometimes, once you do it once and you may have gotten away with it and had a little success on the scale, you start to kind of form a habit of doing that, guessing what the points are in your food. And so you can eventually maybe get into a little trouble with that. So try to always know the point values of the foods that you're eating. You know, if you're eating in restaurants, WW has wonderful tools that track points in various restaurants. And the restaurants, you know, just go directly onto their website. Many of them will tell you the nutritional facts of the foods that they have. So guessing smart points sometimes gets you in trouble, and it's gotten me in trouble. Okay, sabotage your week after a mistake. I've done this where I said, you know, I overate, I messed up, I might as well just eat what I want for the remainder of the week and then track another time or the following week. But you know, that's not helpful. If you make a mistake and you overeat or you go over on your points, you should immediately start again. That's what they say. Immediately start again, because you're only adding to the problem. So if you make a mistake and you eat over your points one week, it's nothing wrong with starting over the next day, the next minute, the next hour. You can do it. I remember that. I know to do that myself. I don't say, oh, I'm just going to throw the week away. I always get right back on it. Even if I'm not perfect, I always track whatever it is, because it just makes you become accountable again. So don't throw away a week if you've had one bad day. It's not a good habit to get into. Okay, let's move on. Number 8, not planning in advance for dining out. You know, I love date night. My husband and I, we try to go every other week or so. But I know what I'm having the moment I sit down in that booth. You know, I'm always reading the websites. I'm always picking foods that work into my points for the day. And then I can sit back and enjoy it, because there's no stress, you know, because I'm not overwhelmed by all the choices on the menu when I get there and trying to calculate the points then and there. Plan in advance if you know that you're dining out. Lots of restaurants, like I said, they give you nutritional facts on their website, or pick foods that you know that are low in points. For example, fish is excellent when you dine out, and salmon can be prepared so many ways. And salmon is 0 smart points, for example, on Blue. So, you know, plan when you're dining out. Know what you're going to eat when you sit down, because it takes the stress out of the event and it allows you to sit back and enjoy your evening, because you already know that you've made some good points. All right, some good decisions, I should say. Okay, number 9, not trying new foods. That's another way to kind of hinder your success on WW. You have to try new foods. You know, there's so many out there, and so many new products that are coming to the forefront every day. I tried a new vegetable recently. It was a squash that I'd never tried before. I want to say it's called Kabocha squash. That squash was so good and sweet. It reminds me of a sweet potato or a yam without the points, because it's squash, it's 0 smart points on blue, and it was so filling and nutritious. And so I have incorporated that into my evening meals, and it saves me so many points, and again, it's so delicious. You know, in order to be successful on the plan, you got to try everything out there. Broaden your horizons so you don't feel limited by the food choices that you make. Because one of the things on WW that does work is consistency, right? Trying foods that you know are tried and true. But at the same time, if you get out there and you try new foods, it keeps things interesting. So try new foods. Not trying the new foods can sometimes get you in trouble because you get into a rut. Okay, we are at number 10. We have made it to the last item on my list, and these are in no particular order, by the way. But the last item is not eating all of your points. You know, if you have a well-rounded, balanced day, you start with a good breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, and you eat points throughout the day that give you your whole total point intake, you feel satiated, you feel full, you're on track. You know, you have to do that. It just feels great at the end of the day to know that you've stayed within your points and you've had some yummy foods. And it also doesn't make you feel like you're on a diet, right? WW gives you those points in those weeklies for a reason. So eat all of your points. You know, when you're not eating all of your points, believe me, this is a problem I don't have often. But when you're not eating all of your points, it may make you feel, you know, like you're not getting the full benefit, and so you may overeat the next day. And I've seen posts where folks say, I have so many points left in the day, what should I do? And to that, I'm like, find a yogurt that's really good, that has a crumbly topping or something sweet in it, and have that as an evening snack, because yogurt is so good for you. Eat a few nuts, you know, that will help you in your healthy fats for the day, or drink something that allows you to have some extra nutrition, an orange juice, for example. So eat all of your points. When you're not eating all of your points, you may not feel satiated, and then you run the risk of overeating or eating something that's not good for you. So those are my top 10 habits that, you know, if you're doing them, it might hinder your success on WW. So get out of those bad habits. Alrighty, listen, I hope that this video was really helpful to you. If you have some, add them to the list down below in the comment section. And don't forget to give me a like on this video, because it's just so helpful to me. Alright guys, well that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and guess what? I'll see you on the next one. Bye!